Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about converting the NFA to DFA. Means conversion from NFA, that is non-deterministic finite automata, to deterministic finite automata. So in the last video we have discussed about the general procedure of converting a non-deterministic finite automata to deterministic finite automata, right? So this session we are going to discuss about converting by using the procedure what we have discussed. By using that procedure we are going to convert a deterministic finite automata from the following NFA. So what is this NFA? NFA means there is no restriction for any state. It is just a finite automata in which a state can have any number of transitions with the same input symbol or may not have a transition with one input symbol. So there is no restriction that each state should have a transition with all input symbols, or each state should have only one transition with the input symbols A or B. Okay, so that is called as finite automata, that is non-deterministic finite automata. So why we have to convert a non-deterministic finite automata to a deterministic finite automata? Because whatever the systems we are going to develop, that should be deterministic. Means based on the input what we give, it should able to determine and produce a proper output and in a very deterministic manner. So if we design a non-deterministic finite automata, because designing NFA is very easy than DFA. When we go for a very complicated type of problems, designing DFA will become tough. So in that case, what we will do, first we will design a non-deterministic finite automata, and then we will convert that NFA to DFA so that the machines or the logical abstract designs what we do can be useful in a very deterministic manner. Okay, so why we are going for NFA? Because the languages sometimes may be a little confusion or may be complicated to design a DFA. So in such a complex type of languages, we will first design NFA and then we will go for converting that NFA to DFA. So that's why conversion of NFA to DFA is very much important. Okay, see, because when you design a DFA, you need some time to think and redesign and check whether it is satisfying and check the logic of the question is proper. So all these things needs to be checked. For simple programs like starting with string AB or ending with 0, 1 or having two consecutive zeros, this is easy to design DFA. So when we go for a very complicated type of languages, in that case, we will go for designing NFA and then convert that NFA to DFA. So that is the main cause of converting from NFA to DFA. Okay, this is a very simple problem. Again, don't think that this is very simple NFA. No, directly we can design DFA. Yeah, this is simple. Only up for your level. Better to understand how to convert an NFA to DFA. Simple NFA problems are taken and converting that to DFA will be done. Okay, so now we have a very simple question. So this is an NFA because the state Q0 have two transitions with same input symbol, and Q1 is having only transition with B, it doesn't have transition with A, and Q2 doesn't have any transitions with A's and B's. So this is NFA. Now we have to convert this NFA to DFA. What is the first step that needs to be done? That is step 1. Step 1 is identify the start state of DFA. Identify the start state of DFA. What is the start state of DFA? We should identify. The start state of DFA is the start state of NFA. So first step is to get the start state or initial state of DFA. You should take the initial state of NFA. So right here, the initial, I'm just writing initial state of DFA is the initial state of NFA. This is the first step in our procedure, what we have discussed. So initial state of DFA is the initial state of NFA. What is the initial state of NFA? Q naught. From here we will start. Okay. So the initial state of DFA is the initial state of NFA. Okay. Now we will make a transition with Q naught. That by using the transition function delta of Q naught. So take all the symbols transition. What are the symbols that we have? A and B. So here sigma is A comma B. So we should make a transition from Q naught over input symbol A is, what is delta Q naught of A? This is the DFA's initial state. So we should write delta D of Q naught on A. Means initial state of DFA over an input symbol, any input symbol A or B, that equals to delta N of Q naught on A. Okay. So delta D of Q naught on A equals to delta N of Q naught on A. What is N? NFA's Q naught on A? NFA's Q naught on A is, we got Q naught and Q1. So Q naught on A is Q naught and Q1. That is the state we got. Next, delta D of, still we have one more input symbol, that is B. Q naught on B, that equals to delta N of Q naught on B. Delta N of Q naught on B. Q naught on B is Q naught. Only Q naught. We don't have any other transitions with B. So delta N of Q naught on B is Q naught. So this is the first step. Step 1 is initial state of DFA is the initial state of NFA. So we have taken Q naught. So the transition of delta D of Q naught on A is equals to NFA's Q naught on A. NFA's Q naught on A is Q naught Q1 according to the design. Next, delta D of Q naught on B is only Q naught. So next step is take these states. Okay. Now Q naught on A is Q naught Q1. So make a transition with delta D of Q naught on A. We will write like this. Delta D of, what is the next state we got? Q naught Q1. So take that one. Q naught Q1 on A. Okay, now I am taking this state. Okay, Q naught on A. Delta D of Q naught on A is delta N of Q naught Q1 on A. Right? Hope you understood. Delta D. So Q naught on A and B, we got these two states. Start from this state. Okay, don't go for Q1. Q naught on A, we got this state. Means these two are equal states. That is understood. Okay. So Q naught Q1 on A, B, we should take. Q naught on A, B, we should take. Okay, like that it should be. So Q naught Q1. Delta D of Q naught Q1 on A is delta N of Q naught Q1 on A. Same thing. With respect to NFA, we should see. That equals to delta N of Q naught on A union delta N of Q1 on A. So this is the step what we have understood in the last procedure. So delta N of Q naught on A union delta N of Q1 on A. Like that we will split it. Now NFA's Q naught on A is NFA's Q naught on A. NFA's Q naught on A is Q naught Q. Okay, we will write that. That equals to Q naught on A is Q naught Q1. Okay, union. Next, Q1 on A. NFA's Q1 on A. In NFA's Q1 on A, is there any transition for Q1 on A? No. So if there is no transition, then it is going to the null state. So there is no state, hence we will put it as 5. Okay. Now Q naught Q1 union 5 means nothing. We are not combining any state. So totally it will becomes Q naught Q1. Okay, null means nothing. So finally we got Q0, Q1. Next one, we should go for the next transition, delta D of Q0, Q1 on B. Okay, Q0, Q1 on A we did it. Now B we are going for. Delta N of Q0, Q1 on B. That equals to delta N of Q0 on B union delta N of Q1 on B. Right? Hope you understood. Delta of, with the DFA transition, Q0, Q1 on B is delta N of Q0, Q1 on B. Means DFA is equals to NFA. This we will split. We will write delta N of Q0 on B union delta N of Q1 on B. Okay. Now what is NFA's Q0 on delta NFA's Q0 on B is Q0 on B is only Q0. So we will write Q0 here. Q0 union Q1 on B. So Q1 on B is Q2. So we will write Q2. So Q0 on B is Q0. Q1 on B is Q2. So totally we will get the transition as Q0, Q2. Okay. So hope you understood this first step. Initial state of DFA is initial state of NFA. So we have taken Q0. Next delta D. Start from initial state Q0 on AB's transition. We got these two. So we take this state and make a transitions with A and B. So with this make a transition with A and B. So Q0 on A is delta N of Q0 on A, Q1 on A. So finally we got Q0, Q1. Q0, Q1 on B. That equals to NFA's Q0, Q1 on B. In NFA, Q0 on B we should check. In NFA, Q1 on B we should check. In NFA, Q0 on B is Q0. Q1 on B is Q2. See here. Q0 on B is Q0. Q1 on B is Q2. So finally we got the state as Q0, Q2. Okay. So this state is done. Next is we have to check for the right hand side. What is the state obtained? Q0. This is already having transition with A and B. Again, no need to do. It is already done. So put a tick mark. Okay. Now we'll go for Q0, Q1. Q0, Q1 on A. We got Q0, Q1 only. Means same state. So Q0 is also done. Only the thing we should do is Q0, Q2. Q0, Q2. So now we should start from delta transition. Delta of Q0, Q2. Delta D of Q0, Q2 on A. So delta D of Q0, Q2 on A is delta N of Q0, Q2 on A. That equals to delta N of Q0 on A union delta N of Q2 on A. So according to our NFA, Q0 on A. Q0 on A is Q0, Q1. Right? Q0 on A is Q0, Q1. So we will write Q0, Q1 union delta N of means in NFA Q2 on A. So Q2 on A. There is no transition from Q2 on A. Hence it is null. So we will go for null state. That is 5. So combination of Q0 and Q1 is on 5 is Q0, Q1. Okay. This is for delta D of Q0, Q2 on A. Next we will make a transition for delta D of Q0, Q2 on B. Okay. Now this equals to delta N of Q0, Q2 on B. That equals to delta N of Q0 on B. Q0 on B union delta N of Q2 on B. So we are splitting this one. Delta N of Q0 on B union delta N of Q2 on B. So that's what we have written. Now Q0 on B in our NFA. Q naught on B is Q naught. Q naught on input symbol B is Q naught. So Q naught on B is Q naught union Q2 on B. See, Q naught on B is Q naught we have written. Next in NFA, Q2 on B we will check. In NFA, Q2 on B is no transition with B. So hence it is null state. So Q naught, Q2 on B is null. Hence it is Q naught. Okay. Now this is done. Now we will check here. Delta Q naught on A and B. We got Q naught, Q1 and Q naught. Now Q naught is having a transition with A and it is having a transition with B. So this is done. So we have put tick mark. Next Q naught also is having transition with A and B. So we have put tick mark. Next thing is we have to check for Q naught. Q naught is also having a transition. Next is Q naught, Q2. See here, Q naught, Q1 on A and B is done. Now we have right hand side Q naught, Q2. Q naught, Q2 on A and B. So we have made a transition with Q naught, Q2 on A and B. Hence we will put a tick mark. Done. The transition is done. Next is Q naught, Q2 on A is Q naught, Q1. This is already have a transition with A and B. So we have put tick mark. Next Q naught, Q2 on B is Q naught, which is already have a transition. So hence all the right hand side what we got have our transitions with A and B. Now if you check, let me show you. Q naught on A. Q naught on A is Q naught, Q1. It is done. Transition having transition with A and B. Q naught is also having transition with A and B. Next, this one also is having transition with A and B. Next, Q naught, Q2 is also having a transition with A and B. Next, Q naught, Q2 on A. This right hand side, whatever the states we got, is having a transition with A and B. Fine. So now, once the right hand side states are having a transitions with A and B, then no need to make any other transitions and stop the transitions. Now, start from the initial state of DFA. Now we have transitions of DFA. Now you can start from Q naught. Okay. So now we will write Q naught. Q naught because initial state of DFA is Q naught. From here we are making a transition. Now Q naught on A. Q naught on A is Q naught on A is Q naught Q1. On B is Q naught. So we will do the same. Q naught on A is Q naught Q1. Q naught on B. So what is Q naught on B? Q naught on B is Q naught. So we will write that. Q naught on B is Q naught. Now Q naught Q1 on A and B. So Q naught Q1 on A. Q naught Q1 on A is Q naught Q1. Q naught Q1 on B is Q naught Q2. So we will write that. Q naught Q1 on A is Q naught Q1. On B is Q naught Q2. Okay. This is done. Next. Q naught Q2 on A is Q naught Q1. So this on A is Q naught Q1. On B is Q naught. Q naught Q2. On B is Q naught. So make a transition to Q naught with B. Okay. This is the DFA what we got after converting from NFA to DFA. And the final step is the final state of NFA. What is the final state of NFA? The final state of NFA is Q2. The final state of NFA, wherever we have that states, we will make it as the final. So here we have Q2. So make this state as final state. Okay. Wherever Q2 you have, you make that states as final states. Here we have only this state as containing Q2. So make that state as final state. So this is the conversion from NFA to DFA. Once again, I repeat, start from the initial state of NFA. That is initial state of DFA is initial state of NFA. Okay. So the initial state of DFA. See here, the initial state of DFA is the initial state of NFA. So I have taken Q naught. So Q naught on A and B, that is DFA's initial state equals to NFA's initial state. From NFA, take the initial state transition. We got Q naught, Q1 and Q naught. So stop here. From here, you take the right hand side. Again, don't go for Q1 on A, B, Q2 on A, B. Not like that. Okay, Q naught on A and B, it's done. Right hand side, what you got, start from this state. So Q naught and Q1, take the first right hand side of the transition and make a transitions with A and B. Okay, so Q naught Q1 on A is Q naught Q1, Q naught Q1 on B is Q naught Q2. So we got with that. So hence that is done. We have put the tick mark. Next is Q naught. Q naught with A and B, it is done. So here Q naught Q1 is already having a transition with A and B. Next we have to take the Q naught Q2. So I have taken transition from Q naught Q2 on A and B. Okay. So this is Q naught Q2 on A. We got Q naught Q1. Q naught Q2 on B. We got Q naught. Okay. So now right hand side, if you take Q naught Q1 is already we made a transition with A and B, and Q naught also we have made a transition with A and B. Hence all the right hand side we have transitions with A and B. So stop the iteration. Okay. So now we can try to design the DFA starting from the initial state. So Q naught on A we got Q naught Q1, on B we got Q naught. So that's why I put these transitions. Next Q naught Q1. On A we got Q naught Q1 only. So I have put self loop. On B we got Q naught Q2. Q naught Q2 on A is Q naught Q1. Q naught Q2 on B is Q naught. So this is the DFA. Because DFA each state should have a transition with A and B. That we have to remember. Based on that we will design the DFA. And final step is the final state of NFA. That state wherever that is present in DFA, you make that state as final state. Make the concentric circles. Okay. So this is our NFA to DFA conversion. Hope you understood the conversion of NFA to DFA. We will do more problems on this. Until then, see you. Bye. Thank you.